I'm finally getting my Bible back. Left it here for a week and a half. Right? We recorded. Last time we recorded was on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Because we had Tyler.
Yep.
So, hey, I have been reading my study Bible that my grandmama.
Your grandmama?
My grandmama gave me for my birthday.
So my grandmama.
The garage gospel. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's roll. This is the garage gospel. The garage gospel.
What's going on, guys?
What's
We're
up?
back.
What's up, guys? I got water this time.
Same old, same old. It's hot outside.
Yeah, you are.
No.
You're hot inside, too.
All right, so bleep. Disregard that. We are getting plans arranged for the new cars.
Since it's nice outside finally.
It's continuously nice outside. So it is really, really hot in Michigan today. What is it? 80s? Something like that?
81.
Sheesh.
Cheese.
Wow. Anyways, we're going to answer one final question, and that is, how do you digest the Old Testament?
Yeah, we'll see how long this one takes us.
This one might be more than...
It
might be more or less.
Last week we should have done Samson as a standalone.
We should have, because Samson got
This
good.
This one is going to be a standalone.
Yeah. Alrighty. So,
You got some things?
I just have basic overview stuff.
All right.
So-
I'll let you hit it.
The Old Testament. I learned this a little bit in college, actually. All of the Old Testament
Yeah, this is the same Bible I got.
is, yeah, buddy, matching Bibles. The Old Testament, the goal, at least how you should read it, is not only to necessarily kind of like say, okay, don't do that, that's mistakes, right? To learn that story, but it's also to prove who God is. That's really the main message of the Old Testament, is just showing, hey, this is who God is, and this is how he works through Israel, and it just kind of proves his character and also shows how Israel is set up, and obviously their journey in becoming a kingdom and community and people group and nation and all that jazz.
All the good jazz.
So one of the main things is that we get to see who God's character is through the Old Testament, because there's a lot of there's a lot of things that if it was a human, we would get really angry and we'd just give up. But
Yeah,
God
the
is
amount of times
amazing.
that Israel left God and pursued other people, other gods, and other ideals is just...
Oh yeah.
Any sane man would go crazy over it.
Mm-hmm. It would be done. It would be done, but the Lord stayed and was persistent with his people because they were his chosen people, which is crazy. But that's pretty much the basic overview if I were to answer you in a sentence. The Old Testament is supposed to be perceived as seeing who God's character is, and obviously through the characters and through the people through the Bible and their story, and how Israel's story just shows how good God is, because he uses Israel even if they're stubborn and not listening. He somehow still uses them for the good eventually. So, do you have any more details?
Well, when I was researching this question, looking a little bit into it in the Bible and some other things, I watched a couple videos on it to just try to make sure I had the whole effect. And one thing that was very consistent in everything that I noticed is a lot of people view the Old Testament as a history textbook.
Yeah.
And not literature.
Mm-hmm.
They view it as just some information we're supposed to grasp in. It's a textbook, we're supposed to know the stories and move on to the New Testament, and that's where we learn things.
That's not true at
Which
all.
is not true. If you go back to, we literally just did the videos about the Ten Commandments and how Jesus talks about the Old Testament, and how he's not here to replace it, but to fulfill it.
It's not like it was really new.
It's not like it was new.
It was just deepening and taking it to a way deeper level, and they didn't understand that because of the parables he's spoken. And to be fair, there's some things that is in the Bible that I don't know yet, and I need
We
to
got no clue. We're
think
still
about
learning.
it and dwell on it and still press in. Literally this morning, woke up, actually did my Bible first thing this morning.
Nice.
It was great, actually. Also, thank you to a conversation with my girlfriend the previous night, and we need to wrap it up. So we both said we were both going to do that. So we did, which was
Maybe
awesome.
Go bed earlier so you can wake up a little early and read that Bible.
Yeah, real. So in Galatians 5, there is a bit of a section that I need to actually now pray before I read to get understanding from, because it was interesting. Didn't fully get it at first. It's a big section, because like that first verse is easy, but then like there's a big section right there that's like, I don't know what this actually means. And so I'm going to go back to that probably later today and look back at it and read it again and try to see if I can get further insight from the Lord on it. But nothing, let's put it this way. This might be a weird statement. Hear me out though. Nothing in the Bible is impossible to grasp on a level. This is all understandable to a degree. You're not going to fully get it, because you're not going to fully get God. That's not how it works. You're always going to learn new things about him. That's why this book never stops teaching you, because there's always new insights in it, no matter how many times you read the same passage. That's if you're with the Lord on it and not just reading it as a history textbook.
Yeah.
But yeah, it always deepens your relationship with the Lord, always. But there's things that you can understand. Like, you can understand Jesus' sacrifice for you. But the level of deepness and how much that means gets deeper and deeper and deeper and never ends, because of the depth of Jesus and the depth of God himself. And like the Trinity, like that's all. There's so many things that we don't understand, but then there's a lot of it that you can understand that the Lord's like, no, this is easy. This is what you need to understand fully. There's other things you won't, but this is what you need to understand. And so there's that kind of stuff. But the Old Testament does a really good job of throwing you some massive curveballs. Let's just do the whole book of Judges.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jael really quick. It's just the story of a tent peg going through one of the bad leaders' temple. Like, not the building, his temple, like his actual brain. Like, there's just so many wild stories and wild things in that book. You're like, she did what? She just gave the guy some milk, made him take a nap, and then just hammered a tent peg straight into his head.
Yeah.
And then they celebrated it, and you're like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah. There's definitely some outrageous stories in the Old Testament.
A lot of things were like, why is this even in here? We're like, what in the world? But again, it's not because it's a history textbook only. That's not the goal. It's actually poetic. Psalms is like literally the main one. Proverbs, all of this, especially if you go look at Bible Project, their Old Testament thing. I don't know what it's called. I remember seeing this video. But they take the whole Old Testament and they go, here's the sections like of the Bible. Like it's a whole literary masterpiece. There's historic, but there's also poems, and there's also like there's just so many different categories that the Bible has in it that's just like knit. It's genius. But again, that's just a little bit of a gimmick of why it's not a history textbook.
Yeah.
So,
And just to go back to that, a history textbook's once again something you read through and you know the stories and you learn from the overview, the overwhelming idea of the story. We learn from the past mistakes. We learn from the mistakes. But this is literature. Like, this isn't just a book. It's something that was crafted so that you don't actually understand it all the first read.
yep, you never understand.
You will never completely understand anything. If you think you do, read it over again. Like,
Trust me, there's a deeper level you
think
did
you
not
know
know that
John,
was there.
you think you know
The
John,
Gospels.
the Gospels. You read them over word for word again. because there's so many Christians nowadays that grew up, and I'm victim to this.
I'm one of them.
We grew up with the stories, with the picture books, and the idea of each of the stories really summarized in this short little thing kids can understand. And then you actually read the story
Yep.
and notice this line directly connects to this.
Yep.
That's something the picture book left out. This line connects to this of what Jesus did.
Yeah.
The storybook left that out.
Again, and even Paul talks about how that's the right thing to do, because you don't give a baby meat. They can't eat that. Like, duh. So you give them milk.
You give
When
them,
you're a
you
kid,
give them,
they give you milk.
you give them the basic story so that they know.
But then when they grow up, they're
And
supposed
as
to
they grow
start
up,
to...
Just like you give a baby more and more types of food.
Yep.
As they grow up, you give them more and more detail, more and more, closer and closer, until it is just the Bible, and then they can try to go through it and understand it on their own,
Yeah.
with some assistance from you or their community, their pastor, their mentor. But they should end up at the Word, and that's a lot of things people just kind of skip by.
They just have the
they know
conversation.
stories. They know the stories, and like, I don't need to read that part of the Bible.
Yep.
I know all the Old Testament
Oh,
stories.
trust me. Go
You
back
don't.
and read it. It's bad.
You do not know
It's
the
bad.
stories.
You're like, oh yeah, that's what the whole story with this, and you're like, yes, but,
That's the basic idea.
and then you're like, oh,
But then you read it, and every other line is some connection to what Jesus did, or a different story, or something like that. And it's just, we need to move away from this idea of just knowing the stories in the Bible and actually getting to know the Word in the Bible.
yeah, that's really good. Because again, you think you understand, and you think you got it, and then you walk away, and then you come back to it on a random Tuesday, and you're like, holy crap, it said that? You're like,
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many instances. Again, back to Galatians for me, even though it's in the New Testament. I know it's not Old
We're
Testament.
talking about Old Testament
I
here,
know,
buddy.
but it relates
Buddy.
to the topic. I
It's
went,
almost like the whole Bible is intertwined and relates to it.
oh,
And that's perfectly how God designed it.
wow, that's a crazy thought. Dude, you should be like,
I should start a podcast.
dude, that'd be crazy. But in Galatians 5, right before the whole listing of the fruits of the Spirit, there's this nice little section that I like, for some reason, it did not get the depth of. When it lists like, hey, what was that? Bug just attacked me. Anyways, I'm gonna get him.
Roll the clip.
I'm gonna get him. Anyways, he's gone now.
He'll come back in 10 minutes.
There's this spot to where like, who does Galatians? Paul.
I believe so.
Paul literally
It says in your
is
Bible.
like going through, and he's like, oh yeah, here's all this encouragement things, and here's all of these like awesome things you guys need to hear. And then he goes into just one section. It's literally, no joke, in my Bible. Let me really quick flip to it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. That's James. We're close. Nope.
Back, back.
A little farther.
Right
a little
before
farther.
Ephesians.
Oh, we're almost
before
there. We're in
Ephesians.
Ephesians. Hold up. Galatians 4, 5. So it's green, purple, green, and then just red. And then back to green. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Green and purple is truth and wisdom and stuff. So it's like, oh, like truth, love. Dude, it's not Simba. Okay. Anyways, it's like truth and all of those things. And then all of a sudden, it's just red. There's this warning. And it's
Yeah, Paul.
wild. And he's just like, oh, by the way, here is like the evidence of, word for word, it's, now the works of the flesh are evident. So he's just throwing in there, oh, by the way, sin's really obvious. And he just lists them all, and then he says, oh, by the way, not all of them, he says, and things like these. But again, I encourage you to go read Galatians and all of the Bible, but
It's Galatians 5,
Yeah.
18 to 21.
we're not going to get into it today. These books are a different episode. But then he goes, and the people that do these things will not inherit the kingdom of God. And then it goes, but the fruit of the spirits, and it just like completely like, anyway, after that warning, we're going to keep going. And it's just this wild thing I just never caught. I was like, oh, so that's right before the,
Boop. Yeah.
interesting. I never caught
Yeah.
that. Okay. And so, like, there's many of those things to where you're like, oh yeah, Galatians, the fruits of the Spirit, and then they go, look at the like couple verses literally right before it, and there's a holy slap in the face right there, and you're like, oh, I never
It's
saw
not
that.
all sunshine and butterflies, rainbow and butterflies, as you thought it was, as those kids' stories said it was.
Unfortunately,
Also, if you read those two sections, they almost mirror each other. There's some gaps, but what he lists as impurities goes almost in order of what he says are the fruits of the Spirit.
correct. The fruits of the Spirit literally contradict immediately and obviously to what he lists as the works of
says,
the flesh.
These are the works of the flesh.
Sin.
And in the exact opposite way, in the exact opposite order, these are the fruits of
Fruits
the
of the
Spirit.
Spirit, and you're
Like
like,
the first one is sexual immorality and love. Like those are two very
different
opposite.
things. Oh shoot, we could go so deep on that. How sexual immorality is like, no, that comes from love. Sex is love. No, it is a product of it, but it is not love, guys. Let's here we go.
Let's just quiet him down for a second.
We need to talk about that because holy moly, the amount of people that that decide to go, now we're basically married, living together, and you're like, okay, all right.
All right.
And so, and then I'm just like, it's right here.
It's right
Okay.
here.
And like that's why I'm a very strong believer that living together before marriage is a very big problem. You should not do that because obviously, if you live in the same home, you're gonna want to sleep together because it's just you two.
Something that people miss a lot is it's not exactly the living in the same building,
No.
but it's more the temptation that comes along with it.
Oh yeah.
And to just cut out what leads to the temptation is the first thing you should do. Like we've said in our boundaries video so long ago.
So
Real,
long. Like actually.
It was a long ago.
Like actually.
But it's not about the actual. You should not set the boundary as like right before.
Please don't. That's a
you sin.
horrible idea.
You sin. You should set it 7 steps in front of it.
I like the 7 integration. I like
Okay,
that.
thank
The
you.
completion word, the completion number.
Because once you get to this step, it's only one more step to fall into sin, and that here it's 7 steps
Yeah.
to fall into sin.
And again, we're not saying do all those 7 steps,
Yeah.
but we're saying
Don't
you
do
can
7
caution
steps,
your you can caution yourself.
If I saw this really great video, you might have seen it too. But if you're setting boundaries as how close can I get to
I have seen this video.
sexual impurity, then you've already committed sex in your heart with that person.
Yep, it's just like the do not murder. But then Jesus goes, if you hate somebody, you've already killed them.
Mm-hmm.
It's that same logic.
It's not how close can I get, it's how much can I protect that person
Yeah.
from my
Love is completely not self-serving. It is completely serving the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to realize that. And if we're honest, that is exactly what God is doing through the entire Old Testament is going, okay, you're my people. I made that covenant. I made that promise. It hurts me, but I will still do it because I will be your king, like I said. And he sticks to his word like that.
Yeah.
Insane, wild, and I'm so glad I got to reel that back all the way back to the Old Testament. But again, that'll be another talk. We'll probably be able to have another session of relationships and awesome talk because we actually have like girlfriends that can actually like be like willing, and we can all talk about like us and being like, hey, here's like the real things that we come into contact with all the time. And so that would be awesome to see, and you guys get to hear from us about, hey, this is where we draw lines and where we're done. Like for me, I have different boundary lines than he does. Every person does. But I want to be...
And he doesn't shame me for my boundaries, and I don't shame him for his boundaries, because we both know we're not sinning. It's just we need to set different boundaries because we know the steps we need to get that we can easily fall into.
Yep,
Some places it's stricter, and some places for him, and some places it's stricter for me.
it's true. It's very true. But if one of us were to do a wax thing and go, yeah, we're going to try to live together, I'd be like, bro, No.
Yeah, and that's where there are the things we both agree on. We agree on, I believe, everything when it comes to what sin is. I would be surprised if there is something we disagree on like what comes down to the sinful part.
For a relationship, yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
We agree on all of that. It's where the boundaries are in front of that.
Oh, yeah.
You need a little different spot. I needed a little different spot.
Yep.
But if we were either one of us were to get us to a certain spot, we both know it's like that's not okay.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's, for me, a big one to where you're like right up there is making out. Like that.
And I agree with that one.
That you are right here. Like you are like one step. You're 1 to 3 steps away from just stepping into you're stuck.
Sexual impurity.
And you are straight done. Because that, yes, again, none of these things are inherently bad by themselves. They need to be put in the right spot, in the right time, in the right place. Because those things, yes, are good, but they're not good when they're in the wrong time. And so, like, if I were to, for some reason, here can I go, yeah, I just made out for like random number 30 minutes. Like I'd be like, hey, so
That's a long time.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, I'd be like, hey, no,
That's not okay.
that's wrong, and I would have to stand him up on that. And that's what friends and even like your relationship should do before that even happens. Like your partner should go, absolutely not. We made this line. No, we're not doing that. And so, like, there's those things. I know we got off track, but that did need to be said.
We got off track. I was about to bring us back, and then you said that's what the Lord had been doing through the whole Old Testament. And I was like, that's a beautiful segue back to what we were talking about.
You're welcome.
And then
we got back off track. But I did have to mention those things because those are real things that actually a lot of people struggle with. So,
yeah, back to
Old Testament.
Digesting the Old Testament. You need to know that this is true throughout the whole Bible, but reread it.
Mm-hmm.
And the Old Testament was written in time of the culture back then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references in here that it like makes a little bit of sense now, but like, and then you understand the culture at that time, and it's like, oh, that's what that sentence meant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that paragraph was talking about when it talked about farmers doing this specific thing. It was, for us, it was just a story of farmers doing that, but for them, it was symbolic of
lifestyle.
the harvest and lifestyle, and that's the same lifestyle that Jesus Christ wanted us to have. And it's like, there's these, once you understand culture, it's so much easier to understand the Old Testament.
Yeah, and then it's way easier to learn how to apply that word to your life.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, so that's pretty much like this for me. And you're like, okay. So if it's like, hey, don't touch unclean things, right? And you're like, okay, so I know why that's there for Israel.
Yeah, for back then, you know why that's there.
And it's because God is trying to make them holy and different and set apart. And you're like, okay, so you're not supposed to do these things. And they also viewed blood as life. And so they're like, that's God's thing, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's like, do not kill. But that one's obvious. Don't do that. But like, there's so many other things that's just like, oh, that's cultural. But then you're like, okay, so I'm not going to go, again, back to the sexual impurity. I'm not going to go do things.
You're stuck on this thing.
I know. Well, I'm not going to go do things
It's a good
that.
thing to be stuck on.
Yeah, I'm not going to go do things that I'm not supposed to right now. Like,
That makes you unclean.
exactly. I'm not going to go get drunk. I'm going to lose my mind. And self-control is the fruit of the Spirit, and we can maintain that. And that's losing that. And like, there's so many things that's like, okay, that can be applied, but then obviously there's a lot of rules and guidelines that doesn't apply to us because that's not our culture. And we don't do that anymore. But like, again, that whole thing of just, you got to understand that a lot of this is about how to make Israel set apart and different from every other nation, so that every other nation goes, I want to be a part of that because it's supposed to be better for them. That's why Sabbath existed, because that didn't exist. Mm-hmm. And honestly, still kind of doesn't.
Not in our day and age.
No, not really, because people like work 7 days a week because they need to. But like, the Lord is designing it is designed a nation to where you go, okay, no, this is a day of rest, and that never happened. And that's very intriguing. That's very intriguing for me. Like that's intriguing to them, and so they're like, okay, sweet. Like God is designing a life to thrive in, not to be a slave in. So like, why not be a part of it? Like there's just so many things through the Old Testament that you're like, oh, I see. And the Lord even brought my calling and who He's made me to be through the Old Testament. Yes, it's my name because He's
Joshua.
because He's like, I said, where do I even know? Where do I even look? And He's like, how about like
Look at your name.
try your own book with your name on it? And I was like, okay. And I
You're right,
did,
you're right.
but it wasn't like it was like this is you. It was like this set of verses. It's the popular verses, but Joshua 1:9. But it really stuck out, and I couldn't shake it. And He's like, this is a part of your mission I have for you. This is who I need you to be. And so obviously that's not all He wants me to be. It gets way deeper, but it started. Like there's a lot of the things that God does, and He speaks through the entire Bible. It's not just the New Testament. And sometimes you need to go back to the Old Testament to realize what you're supposed to do now. And it's not just in the New Testament. Like there's so many things that God does through His Word that is like everywhere. And so when people go, Old Testament's invalid, the Old Testament for a reason. Yes, it's cool stories. Only read it for history. You're like, well, wait.
No.
No. If you didn't have the Old Testament, you wouldn't understand why the New Testament was a thing.
Yeah.
Like the New Testament immediately is canceled out if the Old Testament didn't exist. Because you're like, okay, so why did Jesus have to show up? Like, what's the actual point?
Look at what happened before.
You go backwards.
Yeah, and another thing I'll leave you guys with is, especially when looking at the Old Testament, but this goes for the New Testament too, just reading the whole Bible. Some passages are like milk, and some passages are like steak. Some passages you can kind of glide through a little bit. You should still reread.
Yeah, we're not
Look at
saying
some
just
meanings.
shoot it off because it's milk.
Don't just glide through it because it's just easy to understand parts of it.
Yep.
Because I can guarantee those verses you think you can just easily glide through and understand, there's an underlying thing that will just blow your mind. But then also some passages, everyone who's read their Bible has come into this, that are just like, what the heck are you talking about? What is going on? Why they do that thing? What does this mean? How can I apply this to my life? And just chew on it. Just chew on it. And I would 100% encourage you guys to look into some resources that can tell you about the culture behind when things were, some references. I 100%
Study Bible.
Person should have a study Bible. They break it down.
The Hebrew stuff is in there.
A lot of it.
It's awesome.
Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah. Even
'Cause
Blue
they
Letter
can't only-
Bible,
they
if you
can't
got
only
tech,
fit.
Blue Letter Bible's good too.
That's a good one. But
So we're going to wrap it up now. But I really appreciate y'all still sticking around. And we will actually be starting up some clips on the old socials here. We actually have now all the tools needed to like clip and video and actually have like good shorts and reels for you guys.
it'll be fun.
So I get to go start cranking on those, but it'll be sweet. We're gonna work on them, hopefully get them out. It'll be super epic. Hopefully y'all will love it, and also go talk to everybody you know. Get them here because we're also trying to help them too, not just the believers already. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. We're gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
See ya.